Come explore the magic of Disney, the adventures of Universal Studios, and cruise the high seas. This is Explore the Mouse.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
And here are your hosts, Eric and Casey.
Sometimes hello.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Explore the Mouse podcast. We are back, and in our last, we had a little short tidbit episode that was about, I don't even know, 15, 16 minutes long, and we talked about, basically we're back, and just did a little explanation of, I guess you could say, one of the reasons why we were gone. But we're back, and with even more exciting news of being a travel agent. Not Casey and I both, just me. So the format of this podcast is probably just going to be a tad bit different than we normally have done in the past, and which I don't think it's going to be too off. But we're going to be talking about not just Disney, but we're going to be talking about Universal. We're going to be talking about cruise lines. I contemplated maybe changing the name of the podcast, but we have our followers on Instagram. We have the people that already knew this podcast from before, and does Explore the Mouse really, really matter if we're talking about Universal? Not really. So we decided just to keep it Explore the Mouse and kind of move forward, which is what we're going to do today. We are actually talking about Universal today, and not every episode we're doing is going to be kind of based off travel agency stuff. We're definitely going to be kind of getting back into our old habits of talking about food reviews and Disney hotels and the parks and our trips and our visits and everything like that. So everything's not going to be travel related, but I do want to talk about some of this stuff too, though, because even if you guys aren't looking to book a vacation, this is informative stuff that I hope could help you with anything that you want to do. Even if you're just going to go to a park for a day or just a quick weekend or something like that, and you wanted to just go figure it out and book something. Hey, that's awesome, and I am here if you want to. So, which is kind of the bonus of it all. So, I will put that caveat out there. If you are interested or looking to book a trip, and you want someone that has experience and knowledge in a lot of these different areas of Disney, Universal, let me know. You could either contact me on Instagram or go to explorethemouse.com, the contact page, and put some information in there, and I'll get an email with everything, and we'll get it talking. But so today, what I want to do, I want to really talk about Universal hotels, mainly because we are approaching fast Halloween Horror Nights. Yes. It is that time of year at Universal Studios, not just in Orlando, but Hollywood and Tokyo and Singapore. Halloween Horror Nights is around the corner. It starts off at the beginning of September and finishes on Halloween night. So I wanted to kind of talk about some of the accommodations that you can get when going to Universal to stay, because let's face it, if you're not going to go to Universal and really go spend one day, in reality, Universal Studios takes to kind of do everything, especially with an addition of like a Halloween Horror Nights, it takes at least a minimum of 3 days to really do everything. And even with those 3 days, you want to do the park to park, which is Universal's version of Disney's Park Hopper. It takes a few days to do everything and see everything, and then with Halloween Horror Nights, it adds a whole another thing on. So, kind of wanted to talk a little bit about those. But before we get into that, let's talk about Halloween Horror Nights real quick. If you're listening to this and you don't know what it is, HHN, Halloween Horror Nights, that's what a lot of the locals call it, is HHN. It is I want to say fantastic and scary. It is not like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. It is the complete opposite of that. It is a frightening, monster-ridden, blood, guts, and gore type of Halloween event that they put on every year. and they have different themes every year to all these different areas. So really, what it is that they have they turn all the different Universal Studios, and we're going to be talking about Universal Studios Orlando here, but they turn all of the parks or all the parks into basically a big haunted house. They have 10 different special haunted houses, and what they have is they have scare zones. They have 5 scare zones that's around the park. So as you're walking the exterior, through like the normal part of the park, going from point A to point B, they have different scare zones that you walk through, and they're all themed completely different. And some of them are absolutely frightening, and some of them are just, I wouldn't say funny, but if you're someone who just loves horror movies and doesn't get scared often, it's kind of one of those. Okay, cool. Like, I'm not freaked out by this, but some of them are absolutely terrifying. And then they also have 2 live shows that they do too, which is actually really cool. But I mean, it's not for the faint of heart. It's kind of one of those events. I went to one, not Halloween Horror Nights, but I went to a event at what's it called? Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, Virginia, one time, and there was like a warning prior to the event starting, which is kind of like HHN. There's like a warning, basically, like if your kids don't want to be in here, if you have small kids or whatever, this is your warning. In 30 minutes, the horror comes out, and that's kind of how HHN is. HHN is not for the faint of heart. It's not for little kids, unless you want to stay up with them having nightmares. But it's crazy. So some of the attractions they're planning on doing this year, and these are the haunted houses. Some of the main haunted houses that they have this year is the Singer The Weekend, which I didn't really get this connection at first. I guess I still don't, to be honest with you. But basically, it's called The Weekend After Hours Nightmare, and I do have to say the graphics for it, for the actual, for his actual haunted house, the graphics are pretty dang scary. I'm not gonna lie to you. And there's actually a video at Hollywood Horror Nights YouTube page, so you can go see it. It shows the preview for what his haunted house is going to be, and yeah, it's not. It is not. It looks scary, which is kind of crazy because I'm like, it's The Weekend. He's same at the Super Bowl. But yeah, it's a macabre style haunted house, and it's called After Hours Music. There's like, basically the blunt of it is like slasher, as they put it, slasher carving a smile at a otherworldly rave. So it sounds like it's gonna be like some sort of like really kind of grotesque masquerade, type of thing. And by the way, haunted Halloween Horror Nights, if you guys want to go to it, single night tickets are $73.99. And if you do book through me, and I can get you everything set up, I can get you park tickets and all that stuff set up under the same thing. So all that can be taken care of through travel agency stuff. But if you do live local and you decide that you are just going to go to it and you've never been to it, it is $73.99 per person plus tax to get into it. But it's 100% worth the $74. It really is, plus tax, whatever. It's honestly, it's so worth it. It is such a cool thing, especially if you are into that type of thing. So let's talk about let's talk about a few more things with this haunted house. Not his haunted house, but the other ones. So the other haunted houses that are in there is Blumhouse, which, if you're not familiar with Blumhouse, is that they make a lot of horror movies. They're a production company, I guess you can say. They make a lot of like scary movies that you can see like in theaters and on any streaming devices. But they have their own house, and this is a return. They've been here before. The Halloween Michael Myers. This is the original one. They're doing a horror house or haunted house, dubbed back to the 1978 horror classic, which I'm a huge Halloween Michael Myers fan. It's probably my favorite slasher film. So this house here is going to be extremely interesting. I'm really interested to see where this goes, especially because they just got done, or they're about to wrap up filming of the very last Halloween movie that they said they're ever going to do. So it's going to be kind of cool to have a haunted house dubbed after the original first movie, which would be cool. And then something they always do is the Universal Monsters. It's the Legend Collection. So you got the Mummy, Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, all that. They have their own haunted house, and that's a yearly thing they always do. And now that Universal Studios Orlando got rid of the Monsters Cafe, I think this is going to be a really big hit, because you can't go into the Monsters Cafe anymore and see all the nods and the odes to all these classic horror movies. So I think this is going to be a big house this year, just because of them taking the cafe away. So and then some of the other things they have is, like I said, they have the 5 different scare zones. I'm not sure if they've announced what the scare zones are yet. They may have. I'm looking. They may have put out where the scare zones are going to be. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't really seen anything for that yet. But I was trying to look, and I don't see anything. But anyways, they do have like 5 different scare zones. It's a fantastic time. But we're here to talk about some of the accommodations. So if you guys are deciding that you want to go to HHN, it's not too late to book your accommodations, and I could help you with that. But let's say if you guys are not going to go to HHN, you don't have to, and you want to go at Christmas time or sometime next year, these hotel accommodations will help you out as well. So the HHN is just kind of a quick plug, since it's right around the corner. I mean, it's starting in about 1 month. So, so Universal has a boatload of hotel options. And this is kind of one of those things you don't realize until you either, go and look at their website or walk the property. But Universal Studios Orlando has an amazing amount of hotels. And I'm a huge Disney fan, and it's hard for me to kind of go away from Disney parks. But Universal hotels are themed insanely, amazingly awesome. There's no other way to really say it. The theming at these resorts is incredible. They have I don't know what they call them, but like their Imagineering department. They have done an incredible job with all of their hotels. Every hotel you step into, you feel like you are legitimately transported into that category. And like for me, like just recently, kind of go to Disney side. Recently we walked around and hung out at Riviera for like a couple hours, and just the Riviera is beautiful, but it doesn't make me feel like I'm in Italy or the French Riviera or anything like that. The hotels that are over at Universal Orlando, as you're walking around them, really truly make you feel like you are transported. Kind of like the Polynesian. Like Polynesian makes you feel like you're walking through a Polynesian resort somewhere, but they're amazing. So let's talk about some of the couple options that are there that you can kind of go for. And on the more inexpensive side, but to kind of get some of the perks that you want when you book a hotel, they have 2 of, as I call them, they're not I wouldn't say budget or value resorts, because they're definitely not value resorts, but they're a little bit more of an upgraded of a value resort. But we have the Aventura and Cabana Bay Beach Resort. Cabana Bay is one of my favorites, but let's talk about Aventura real quick. Ventura is their tallest property, so it is kind of it's not really a wide spread out resort. It's just basically a tall hotel that has a bunch of really cool amenities. It only has 600 guest rooms, and that's why, I say only, but it's not like a sprawling resort that has 1,600 rooms. They have 600 rooms. It is the tallest. The property value is about 2 stars, which they go up to about 4 stars at Universal Orlando. But some of the cool things you get, though, and this is what I think the perks are for, especially staying at these resorts if you're going to do it, is you get early park admission included. Similar to Disney, you get early park admission in an hour early prior. And that's not just for the parks, but that's also for Volcano Bay, the water park as well. And you get the free shuttle, the buses, the boats. They got all different types of rooms. Usually their guest rooms will sleep 4 to 5. They're about 250 square feet, so typical kind of hotel room. But they also do offer what they call kid suites, and it would be a hotel room where it has an adjoining room, and usually they're themed. All the kid suites are usually themed to different characters within the Universal realm. But some of the dining that they have there, they don't have a lot of dining options, but they do have one called the Urban Pantry. But the coolest part, I think, of Aventura is Bar 17 Bistro, which is a rooftop bar. And it's the only rooftop bar that you can find at Universal Studios resorts and everything like that. And the views from the rooftop bar are amazing. You can see, the like everything from the parks. You can see all of that good stuff. And actually, on a clear night, you could even see fireworks down the road at Disney. So it's a really cool rooftop bar. They also have a Starbucks in their lobby bar and a poolside bar. So if you're looking on the amenity side of it, they do have a swimming pool and a splash zone, but the amenities are kind of on the more minimum side, which is why the price point's so low. Where I think you really get the bang for the buck at that price point is the Cabana Bay Beach Resort. And the Cabana Bay Beach Resort is an insanely awesomely themed resort. It's themed after in the 1950s, and they do such a good job. I'm not kidding. They transport you into like a 1950s like hotel resort. From the moment you pull up to the lobby area, they have classic cars that are parked out front, which is really neat. They give you that nostalgic feel of the 1950s from the very moment that you walk up with with all these classic cars just parked out front, which is really cool. But Cabana Bay Beach Resort is a 1,280 room. Those are standard rooms. Resort, which are about 300 square feet per room. But here's where they kind of amp it up. They have 900 family suites. That is insane. 900 family suites that sleep up to 6 people. They're 430-ish square feet, so you get a decent space. Especially because you're not really spending much time in your room anyway, so you don't need like a 1,000 square foot place unless you're staying for a really long time. Which at that point you might as well just upgrade to a really big suite and make it worth your while. But they also have 22 bedroom suites, and that sleeps up to 8 people, and those are about 772 square feet, which is plenty of room because I can tell you just a few years back. Casey and I rented a house in the town we live in, and that house was like 700 square feet total, I think. So 772 square feet for a vacation, you can make it happen if we made it happen as a place of living. Just as everything else, early park admission, 1 hour before, early admission into Volcano Bay or Wizardly World of Harry Potter, which is a huge one. You get your free shuttle buses, and then this is really cool is that you do get complimentary access to clubs at City Walk, which is a really neat feature. So even though it's still in that price point of the lower resorts, you get a little extra perk from the Aventura, which is nice. Each of the suites there, so if you're planning on doing this with a family, each of the suites that you have there has a kitchenette. They have a large bathroom, pull-out sofa, microwave coffee maker like any other thing would. But the big thing is the kitchenette. The dining here at Cabana Bay is really, really awesome. The theming is amazing to it as well. You have the Bayliner Diner, which is their big area, and they got these massive TV screens on the wall. They're playing classic commercials. I think once in a while they do play some classic shows, but it's usually classic commercials, like commercials from like the 50s and the 60s. And I love nostalgic things. I watch classic 80s commercials all the time. Not all the time, but if I'm just lying around and on YouTube. I do that as well, but they do have a lot of options for food. They have Galaxy Bowl, which is actually an actual bowling alley, dubbed after a 1950s bowling alley. But they do have a restaurant in there as well, so you can go eat. Atomic Tonic, which is another food option. Hideaway Bar and Grill, which is just kind of like your neighborhood bar and grill, but 1950 style. And then they have called the Swizzle Lounge. That's a hard one to say. They have the Swizzle Lounge, which is a kind of a small lounge near the lobby area. You can get a little bit of food there. It's not a full blown restaurant, but and then the cool thing about Cabana Bay as well is that times do vary. But if you get home, from the park and you don't want to go out downstairs to eat or whatever, times vary. But they do actually do pizza deliveries to your room, which is nice. But recreation wise, is that they have two really nice swimming pools. The lazy river, which any place that has a lazy river I'm in. You have Galaxy Bowl, the bowling alley, game rooms, and fire pits. And I think fire pits are actually at every one of the resorts, which is kind of cool, which is nice. But those two are part of the prime value resorts, Ventura and Cabana Bay. So the preferred one, which would be kind of your next step up. Now there is a step below that, and those are the value. I'm not really talking about the value right now. If you're interested in booking and you want something with the value, we can go over prices. But the value don't really have a lot to offer. And they're called Endless Summer. One of them's called Surfside Inn and Suites, and the other one's called Dockside Inn and Suites. But compared to the other ones, there's not a ton of amenities to really offer. And I feel like if you're gonna book something, you might as well like at least step up to that prime value, just because you're gonna get a little more bang for your buck, theming. Options and everything like that, and the thing with Universal Studios Orlando is that everything is so close together. So if you wanted to leave the park, if you went an hour before opening and you wanted to leave the park and go back to the pool, you can be back at any of the hotels on property within minutes. It's a little bit different than Disney, where Disney is so sprawled out, where sometimes it may take a 2-3 hour turnaround to do that, but if you wanted to leave the park and go back and go swimming for like half an hour, you could be back in the park in an hour and a half. So it's good to upgrade, because then you can have those options for amenities. But the next step up is the preferred, which is Lowe's Sapphire Falls Resort. Lowe's Sapphire's Fall Resort it's pretty. It is a pretty resort. And again, a lot of the amenities that they have at the Sapphire Resort, it's a Caribbean themed, by the way. So the whole resort is kind of themed around the Caribbean, old Caribbean, and even like newer type of part of the Caribbean. Same thing as the other ones. You get early admission, parks, Volcano Bay, complimentary water taxis, shuttle buses. This hotel has 1,000 guest rooms and 83 suites. And they also do have themed kid suites, by the way. And this is where it's a little bit different than the prime value. The prime value ones that do have a suite, they're just kid suites. But these upgraded ones you get to, the preferred and the premier, they start having your themed kid suites. So, and when I say theme, I mean they're impeccably themed. I'll put some stuff on our social media about it, but it's incredible. So the dining options here, again, everything is Caribbean. You have the Amatista Cookhouse, the Durham Club Canteen, Strongwater Tavern, which is Strongwater Tavern's pretty cool, because if you go into Strongwater Tavern, they have a professional rum guy in there. I'm not sure what they're called. They're sommeliers are like wine, but they have a guy that works there that specializes in rum. So you can do like these really amazing rum tastings, and they got all these different rums from the Caribbean in there. So Strongwater Tavern's a really cool place to go to. And they also have a quick service called New Dutch. And New Dutch just has kind of your, they'll have like, they do have some hamburgers, they do have chicken fingers, stuff like that. And then they do have like some Caribbean inspired quick service meals as well. And then they also do 24-hour room service as well, which is a huge one. So, if you get back from a park late at night and you're just hungry and you don't want to go do anything and just put on some pajamas, they have 24-hour room service, which is fantastic. They do have a really amazing swimming pool with a slide. One of my favorite features of this hotel is the cabana rentals. So if you wanted to spend the day at a pool, let's say you booked like a 5-day and you only wanted to go to the parks for 3, you can do a pool day, rent a cabana, and it it transports you to the Caribbean. And I think that's kind of the really cool thing about these places. They give you these themed hotels that are really nicely themed, so it kind of makes you want to stay there, which is fantastic. So the next one up from that is the premieres. And the first one of the premieres that they have, and again, the premieres kind of, the theming level of the premieres kind of goes up. Every level of hotel you go up to, the theming just gets better and better and better. The only caveat to that is I do think, like I said, Cabana Bay, which is the prime value, Cabana Bay's theming is insane for the price. I think it's not saying that it's not worth it to go to the higher hotels, but I have to say that Cabana Bay for the price is an amazing hotel to book. At least stay there once and try some things out, and that's the beauty of it too. You can go to one and then go somewhere else. But the first one in here is Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort, and this one is themed after basically the Pacific Isles or the South Pacific Seas. So kind of reminds you just a little bit of Polynesian. This is where I think the theming with like Polynesian Resort beats out this Royal Pacific Resort. But the theming is still pretty spot on, and the amenities you get are pretty great. The nice thing, though, about these premier resorts, all of them come with Universal Express Unlimited. And what Universal Express Unlimited is it gives you access to ride the rides and skip the lines. So every single park that you go to, when you are going on a roller coaster or attraction or whatever, they have these Universal Express lines. So there's two different packages that you can buy with a normal ticket. It's Universal Express and Universal Express Unlimited. If you stay at one of the premier resorts, all of your park tickets automatically get the Universal Express Unlimited. So you do have to buy a park ticket still, but that's a huge perk. It's like $129 savings, which is huge. And I mean, you can pretty much walk onto every ride. The downside of that is kind of like Genie Plus or, Fast Pass or Lightning Lane, is, you do miss some of the really amazing theming. Because I remember when I rode, for the first time, I remember when I rode Escape from Gringotts in Wizardly World of Harry Potter, I didn't get the chance to really see the full theming, because when you go through these express lines, they basically kind of cut through some little back areas to kind of cut the line. So, in the Gringotts one, like, I missed out on the whole inside of the bank. I didn't get to see any of that, which I did later on, but not the first time. And it was kind of like, So there is a perk to having the Universal Express Unlimited, and staying at the hotel is one of them. So early park admissions, just like the other one. The other perk as well that you get is you get complimentary Universal City Walk club-to-club access. So if you're there with a group of adults and you want to, without kids or with kids, but you leave the kids at home for this night, if you stay at a premier resort, you get complimentary pass, which means you can go from club to club to club without paying for it. Because that is another additional charge too, is that you can do a club to club pass for City Walk, and you can just go to every single club bar there and not have to worry about paying a cover charge. So that is actually included in with your premier resorts. And also you get priority seating at some of the select resorts or some of the select restaurants around the resort. And that's something that you can kind of book and plan ahead when you book your trip. So the Royal Pacific Resort has 1,000 guest rooms and 51 suites. You could also do club level upgrades, which the club level upgrade is worth it because you get concierge service. And the concierge service basically, it makes you feel like royalty. There's a special club level room that you can go into where they have complimentary breakfast and drinks and all those things. And it's just a really neat upgrade if you're really looking to kind of amplify your vacation for your family, or even just two people, The nice thing, though, is that they do have themed kid suites, and here they have Jurassic Park, or Jurassic World, sorry. They have Jurassic World themed kid suites, And these kid suites that they have there, I mean, when I say they're immersive, they are immersive. It's not just like a dinosaur on the wall. It's, it looks like movie props from the movie that they just put into this room and like made a bed out of or whatever. It's really incredible. It's amazing. The dining options here are insanely good. They have the Islands dining room, which is a South Pacific themed. So you're going to get a lot of your, Hawaiian, Polynesian type of cuisines. Boulevard and Grill, which is a poolside, and you can, kind of grab like some South Pacific Polynesian style food there, but like kind of good, in a sense, quick service like hamburgers and things like that. Jake's American Bar. They got the Orchid Court Lounge and Sushi Bar. So if you're a sushi lover, this is a good place for you because they have that right on property. They also have 24-hour room service, and then for an extra fee, which is worth it, you could do the Wantalan Luau, which is basically their luau. You can get suckling pig and all these different Polynesian and Hawaiian foods. And then they do the shows, fire breathers, hula dancers, and all the good stuff that you get with a luau. And now that Disney's Polynesian Resort doesn't do that anymore because they tore that down and are making way for their DVC tower, that's actually a really cool option because you can't get that at Disney anymore either. The pools and recreation is they have a pool with what they call the Royal Bali seawater play area. It's a really cool area for kids to play. Also, they have game rooms, and they have nightly torch lighting ceremonies, which is a really cool option as well. Really neat experience. It's very, very authentic, and they have like this whole thing, with chants and song that they sing, plus then they do the torch lighting ceremony, which is really neat. Another one of the hotels that's in here is the Hard Rock Hotel. Everyone's familiar with Hard Rock hotels. But you're kind of looking at what is the difference of this Hard Rock Hotel that makes me want to do it. And I'm going to tell you, immersive. Everything about this hotel is upgraded and immersive, no matter what you do. The perks, though, are the same as the other premieres. So the Universal Express Unlimited, early park admission, club-to-club access at City Walk, and priority seating at select restaurants. This hotel is a little bit smaller than the Lowe's Royal Pacific. It's 650 guest rooms, 29 suites, and what they have is called the Rock Royalty Lounge, which is their club level. So you could upgrade to club level here as well. And then they have what they call the Future Rockstar Suites. And the Future Rockstar Suites are insanely immersive. There's a stage inside the hotel room, and I'll talk about it in a couple minutes. I'll talk about it now. They have a thing called Sound of Your Stay. So if you have like one of these rooms, they like rent you like Fender Stratocaster guitars and the gear, and you can bring it to your room and play guitar and whatever. And these suites have like a little stage in there. So it's like if you wanted to have like a little fun night with kids or whatever, you can rent a guitar, set up a little concert in the stage inside your own room, and there you go. I'm not sure how that works with, people staying near, but whatever. I mean, you're staying at the Hard Rock, they have these features, there's probably going to be some sort of rock and roll playing at some point. So, but the dining options here is you have the kitchen, the Palm, which is your steak and seafood. It's going to kind of, everything they do here makes you feel like you are a rock and roll legend. They treat you like royalty and celebrities, here. They also have the Beach Club. They do have some quick service, the Velvet Bar, EMAC and Bolio's Marketplace, and again, 24-hour room service, which is a huge perk. Their recreation, they have a lot of recreation here. The swimming pool with a slide, walking and jogging paths around the property, which is really nice. Everyone has a game room, so there's a game room here as well. The Sound of Your Stay, which I just told you about, you can rent out like Fender Stratocasters and the equipment to go with it. They have a thing called Rock Om Yoga, which is pretty neat, and it's a yoga class that they do there, and it's to like basically popular like rock and roll music, but in like a more relaxing, like a more like relaxing Om type of feel, which is a really neat one. And then Velvet Sessions. Velvet Sessions is cool because it's just a bunch of different bands. And they have like these bands come in. Sometimes they have people that are well known that come in and they actually play, little shows and concerts and everything. And it is a really cool experience. And when I say it's immersive, it really truly is immersive. Everything about the Hard Rock Hotel at Universal Orlando, it makes you honestly feel like you are a rock star from the moment you walk in to the moment you go to your room and experience all the other amenities. It makes you feel like you're a rock star. So, is it worth it? Yes, I do think it's worth the price. So, definitely check that out. One of the other ones that's there, which I think this is probably one of the most immersive in a sense of it literally transports you to the theming of it when you walk through this property, walk into the lobby and everything about it. It makes you really feel like you're actually in Italy, and that is the Lowe's Portofino Bay Resort. And it is themed after Portofino, Italy. This hotel is a AAA Diamond hotel. They do offer a spa as well, the Mandara Spa, which fees have applied to the spa, just like any other spa you would go to. The rooms here, you have 750 guest rooms, 45 suites with club level upgrades if you would like to. And this is one of those resorts, if you upgrade to club level, you're going to feel like you're, a celebrity. You're treated really well. And in my opinion, I think they have probably one of the coolest kid-themed suites here, and that is Despicable Me and the Minions. It is amazing. And by the way, we just went and saw Despicable Me: The Rise of Gru tonight, and what an amazing movie. So if you guys haven't seen that yet, go check it out. It is so good. But they do have the Despicable Me, Minions, kid suites, and the theming of these are just, it's so cool. If I was a kid, I'd be blown away if my parents booked this. Because growing up, there wasn't anything like that. You stayed at the Holiday Inn or whatever it was. But amazing. The food here is where it's at. The food at this hotel resort is insane. Their main restaurant is Trattoria del Porto. Yes, I did give you an accent with that. Amazing Italian food at this place. Very authentic. And the thing is, good Italian food is not, how do I put it? Good Italian food is not like really, it's not supposed to be like heavy. Good Italian food is supposed to be like clean and, kind of almost in a sense of, it sounds weird, but like a refreshing meal. Kind of the lasagna that we think about, or the food that we think about here, that we get at Italian restaurants that are Americanized. It's so different. And Trattoria del Porto really transports you to Italy and brings you some of that authentic cuisine that you crave when you think of Italy. They also have a poolside bar called Splendido Bar and Grill, where you can get a bunch of different bar and grill options by the pool. Mama Della's Ristorante, which I think this one is probably cool because they don't call it character dining, but they call it in a sense that you have a character that comes out, and the character that comes out is Mama Della. There's actually a person at this restaurant called Mama Della that comes out, and she's wearing like normal like clothes that a mom would wear, and she's wearing an apron. It's like she just came out of the kitchen, and the apron's dirty. Well, not dirty, but it looks like she's been back there cooking, and she comes out and greets people at the tables and talks to everyone. And it feels like you're literally at like an Italian mother or grandmother's house, and they're just checking in on you. It's a really neat experience. And then they have another restaurant that people commonly mistake it, and they call it Bice, B-I-C-E, Bice, but it's called Bice. Bice Ristorante, which is another Italian restaurant there. Really good food. You can get a lot of really good things there, but if quick service is more your things, Sal's Market and Deli is probably your go-to. It kind of brings you to like a classic Italian deli with like homemade pizza, like really good pizza too, like homemade pizzas, sandwiches, just amazing type of feel. And then if you're in the mood for something sweet, gelato, they have the Gelateria, which has homemade Italian gelato there. They have a Bar American. They have Thirsty Fish, Starbucks, and 24-hour room service. The pool and recreation, they have a ton of pool and recreation options. So you have the beach pool with the slide and cabana rentals, and you also have a villa pool with slides and cabana rentals. So this is another one of those places that if you wanted to book like a 5-day trip and do 3 days at the park and make one full day at the pool, you could easily make that happen. Because there's so many different options there that you can do. So it's a really neat place. They also have another pool. So they have 3 pools total. They have the beach pool, the villa pool, and the hillside pool. The beach and villa are the only ones with slides and cabana rentals, though. And then they also have a game room. They have a bocce ball court, and they also have walking and jogging paths as well. So a lot of cool things there. I think one of the coolest things about this hotel is nightly they have Italian opera singers that come out and they stand on a balcony and they sing really beautiful Italian opera music. And that's called Musica Bella Notte. And it's insane. And they're not the only musical thing. You could be sitting outdoors at one of the restaurants and you could have like a group of, kind of like older Italian guys that will come up and they have guitars and, they'll serenade you and everything. And when I say it really truly transports you to like Italy, it really truly does. It makes you really feel like you're not in Orlando, Florida. Maybe the heat will, but it doesn't make you feel like you're in Orlando, Florida. It makes you feel like you have been whisked away to Portofino, Italy, which Portofino, Italy, by the way, is a seaside village. Kind of in a sense of if you watched the movie Luca from Disney, it's kind of similar to like that, where, you have the ocean and the bay. It's a big fisherman area. Just really, really neat. And you kind of get that feel too, because there's a lake that kind of splits the resort. So you have a lot that's surrounding around this lake. So it's really cool. Really great resort. So if you're looking for something that you can really truly upgrade, that is the big one. So for me, I will say, and I'm not just saying this to kind of get more money out of you or make you spend more, but you really do get more bang for your buck when you stay at one of these premier resorts. And I think it's just because of all the complimentary things you get with the Universal Express Unlimited, the complimentary club to club, if you're into that type of thing, and then the priority seating. I think the priority seating at restaurants is a huge perk, because again, reservations. Trying to get a reservation somewhere is not the easiest thing. So if you can get priority seating at select restaurants by staying at this resort, why would you not, try to take advantage of that, especially if it's something that you can fit into your budget, So a lot of different options there that can really get you ready. Really get you ready for Halloween Horror Nights, or even if you can't make it to that, just a regular event. But Universal Studios is one of those places you don't sleep on. Disney is great. I love Disney. Disney's always my number one. But you can't sleep on Universal Studios, especially because of their accommodations. Their accommodations are top notch. They do such a great job with them. And honestly, Wizarding World of Harry Potter, that is, in my opinion, that is like the one thing about those two theme parks that make it for me. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter on both sides, it's insane. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And then the Jurassic Park stuff on the one side is great as well. So a lot of cool things there. But as for the accommodations, you have a ton of options to choose from. Everything that will fit your budget. If it's one of those things if you have a vacation that's far out, you can book it similar to Disney. You can book it, pay a deposit, and then kind of pay it down over time. So why not spoil yourself and, upgrade to something a little bit, a little bit more, I don't even know if you want to go bougie. I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what you want to call it. But again, though, if you are someone who is on a tight budget and wants to keep that tight budget, I would say Cabana Bay Beach Resort. That is your go-to if you're someone who really, really wants to stick to a tight budget. Cabana Bay is going to give you the most bang for your buck, I'm telling you. And the best thing about Cabana Bay is it's right next to Volcano Bay Water Park. You actually have a separate entrance into Volcano Bay Water Park from that resort, which is really neat. But some of the rooms, I'll give you this, some of the rooms, depending on where you get, actually overlook Volcano Bay Water Park, which is fantastic. And since you get early admission into those things, if you buy tickets for the water park, there you go. And like I said, if you're looking at tickets, I would definitely do at least 3 days. That is going to be your biggest bang for the buck. 3 days, park to park. That way you can kind of bounce around from park to park and kind of see everything that you want to see. And yeah, so if you're looking to book Universal Studios Orlando, hit me up at explorethemouse.com under the contact section. And let me kind of give you a free, no obligation quote. And the beauty of booking through me is that there are 0 booking fees. So you don't pay anything extra. What I find for you is what your price is. There's no extra booking fees, so you don't have to worry about that. And again, if you just want a free quote, let me give you a free quote. If it doesn't work for you, we'll try to figure something else out. And if it does, fantastic. We'll book the most amazing trip for you. So, well, that is it for this episode. We're going to be coming back very, very soon. We do have a list that we are going to be putting on the website of basically our episodes that we want to do. A bunch of Disney stuff, food reviews, hotel reviews, some more Universal things, and even some cruise ship stuff. So stay tuned to this. We're going to be kind of action-packing, piling some stuff on. So you're going to be getting a lot of content from us, especially podcast-worthy. So you're going to see a lot more of us. So I hope you're okay with that. So, but for now, I would like to say thank you so much for tuning in. It is so good to be back. It is, I don't know, I just can't even explain it. It is so good to finally be back on this microphone talking to whoever's out there. Hopefully you're listening. So, and hopefully what I gave you is very informative. So that is going to be it for me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We will see you next time. Come explore the magic of Disney, the adventures of Universal Studios, and cruise the high seas. This is Explore the Mouse.